Hey cinema fans, welcome back to another movie and TV review. Today we got Sons of Anarchy Season 1. SOA was brought to us by Kurt Sutter, also the producer of the TV show S.H.I.E.L.D. This show follows a motorcycle club that's led by the character Clay, played by Ron Perlman. But the main viewpoint is Jax Teller, aka Jackson, played by Charlie Hunnam. So early on, the character Jax finds a old journal written by his father that was also the founding founder of the SOA club. Now, in this journal, it's basically showing that how he had some worries and honestly doubts about his own motorcycle club. And Jack's reading this and he starts to have his own doubts of the motorcycle club and the whole organization and what they're doing with the motorcycle club. So this season starts off with a bang with the SOA's weapon shop being blown to bits by a rival gang. And really from that sets up a big overall throughout the whole series of this back and forth with that gang and some other issues and threats that come along that I won't spoil. But yeah, so this weapon shop and the whole weapon business is somewhat of their bread and butter for the motorcycle club, also drugs and whatnot. A typical gang, business that you would see in any other show. So they get their money and their profits, and the organization is funded through that. And all this happens in a little town, a fictional town called Charming. And really, this whole season is Jax basically having a lot of doubts, having a back and forth, not just mentally, but also with his biker buddies that, how this SOA has lost their way. And he's trying every way to weed in his ideas or mindset of trying to get away from the weapon business and really even the drug business, trying to go pretty much legitimate, no illegal businesses for SOA so they can live a clean, healthy motorcycle club. Which leads into Jax butting heads with the gang leader because the gang leader, Clay, wants to have that weapon business, wants to stay where they're at, and Jax wants to move away from that. And this also causes interest from his mother, Jax's mother, and she learns about how he's been reading the journal from his past father that passed away a long time ago. And, she's worried that Jax is turning into his original biological father and his mindset. And that gets unraveled later on into the series. And we'll get into that when we get to that. But it's a nice family drama mixed in with biker gang, crime drama thriller. Also, at the beginning of the season, we see that Jax is dealing with the fact that his son was given birth way too early than expected due to his ex-wife and her addiction problems that caused problems for his son's early birth and potentially almost, if not on death's door for his son. But we're also met with the love interest, Jax's old high school fling, Tara. They kind of start this whole new relationship again due to very tragic situations with the son. And also throughout the season, you see the struggle of Jax trying to still have faith and not to give up on his son. Early on, he gives up on his son, but due to his family, even with his problems with his mother was very encouraging, and also Tara, to keep him on track and stop thinking that his son is going to die and that to not give up hope. Look, the show has the typical crime drama that you have in any other drama action, live action shows like The S.H.I.E.L.D., The Wire, and all those other great shows. But what this show does, it brings the element of family and heart, and honestly, the duality of leading a good life or leading a dark life. By not letting your evil, dark temptations take over your moral compass and your morality as a whole. And see, what this show and this season does very well, and Kurt Sutter in his writing was brilliant, is that, we see the struggle with our main character, with his darkness and his light, and trying to stay on a moral compass and trying to find a new direction for his biker club. But also we see it in other side characters, including Opie, his best friend, and how he was trying to stay out of the whole crime lifestyle, biker lifestyle for his wife and kids, but he gets pulled back in because also his biker club is his family as well, and his family needs him. We see that struggle in the first episode and throughout the whole season and going into the rest of the series. But we see that with all the characters, and I can go into every individual character, but that'll take forever. But I wanted to point out Opie because Opie is one of my favorite characters out of the series besides Jax, and his struggle and the tragedy of him later on. And it's really, the whole back and the relationship between these two is very, honestly hits home for me and my friendship and my brothership with my friends and whatnot. So this does hit home for me, and I love the character Opie. And again, the writing was top notch because at the end of the season, we see Jax at his biological father's grave and the funeral of the passing of one of the biker members. I don't want to spoil anything, but we see right there, he's still on his moral compass, trying to bring his biker club, his family, back into a legitimate, out of the crime. He wants out of the crime business for his biker club and his family. And we see at the end of the season where he's so detached or separated from that biker club at the end of the season when they're at the funeral and he's off with over there while they're all together mourning the loss of a certain member. And with that, we also see Tara show up and stands right beside him, and it just echoes the future of the series and where they go with it, and just it's beautifully done. Also, the music in the background, the Revelator was top notch. I think his name is the White Buffalo, I believe the artist's name, but he does a great job. The music in this, the song selections, because a lot of covers to songs were in the show, they did a great job with that. The acting is just beautiful. The whole crime family drama is just on point. Honestly, kind of reminds me of The Sopranos a little bit, and and a little bit of The Wire mixed in as well. Kurt Sutter does a great job in this series, and I love it. My rating for the season, I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. The only reason why it's just a bit lower, not a 9, is because sometimes the pacing can slow down a bit. That it drags on just a bit, but it's not overbearing, but it's still there. Also, the moments where at the end of the episode, there's usually a song playing, and they kind of go into this montage of seeing our characters and where they're at and where we leave them off at the end of the episode. And that's great and all, but it's kind of repetitive a little bit and to the point, but it's not like to the point it takes you out of the series, but it is noticeable that can be very repetitive, and they do it throughout the whole series. So it's not just a season, but that's also one of my little critiques. And really, my critiques are just nitpicks at this point, and that's why it's at 8.5. But honestly, I love the series. I love the season, and I'm so happy to go into a whole review of each season. And then we'll do the Mayans leading into the last season of the Mayan show. But so thank you for watching, and please subscribe to Cinema Fans, home for fans of cinema.